Even today, almost 26 years later, this scene still pisses me off. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who was clearly in the lead, rolled out of the 1999 GP of Europe at the Nürburgring on lap 32 with technical problems on his Jordan Mugen Honda. What bad luck. What a missed opportunity. Because if Frentzen had won this race, the 14th of the season, he would have been virtually level with Mika Häkkinen and Eddie Irvine, who were leading the championship by 10 points. With 2 more races to go, the driver's title would have been within the grasp of the German. Not to mention what a story it would have been if the quote-unquote failed had won the world championship in an underdog team. Häkkinen did, in fact, win the Drivers' World Championship, not only because of his outstanding performance at the season finale in Suzuka, but also deservedly so. Irvine, promoted to number 1 at Ferrari due to Michael Schumacher's injury-related retirement mid-season, finished runner-up. Frentzen undoubtedly drove the season of his life in 1999. Won 2 races in the Jordan, had a real chance of winning the title for a long time, and ultimately finished 3rd in the World Championship. And this after he had been fired from Williams at the end of '98 and had only been signed by Jordan as the number 2 driver behind Damon Hill on a performance-related contract. In this light, one can be more than satisfied with his performance. But I'm not. Which is why I want to rewrite history of the 1999 Formula One World Championship with this custom championship in Automobilista 2 and make the Jordan with the number 8 world champion. But my unfulfilled longing is of course only one reason for this series. Another, at least as important, is my love for and of classic Formula One racing cars, which have a very special home in AMS2. Formula V10 Gen 2, as this class is called in the game, covers the years 1998 to 2004. It is the era of profiled tires and refueling of Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher. But above all, it is the years of perhaps the best engine sound Formula One cars have ever had. Or is there anyone here who is immune to the beguiling, siren-like screech of a high-revving V10? The generic car in Automobilista 2 drives fantastic and captures the very essence and characteristics of that era superbly. The improved AI contributes significantly to the fact that racing against the computer is so much fun here. However, the whole thing only becomes grandiose in the sense of authentic through modding. Thanks to the mod by Alain Fry, which contains original textures for all cars, helmets, gloves and overalls, as well as a custom AI XML with all the names and values of the 1999 driver lineup, we are already superbly equipped. The icing on the cake is the XML Selector, which is also included in the mod. With this little program, we can select various season or race scenarios from the 99 season. For example, there is a scenario in which Michael Schumacher is replaced by Mika Salo at Ferrari due to his broken leg. Automobilista 2 has 12 of the 16 real tracks in its portfolio, most of them even in the historically correct version. My racing calendar contains a total of 10 races. I omit the Azur circuit, aka Monaco, and the Nürburgring. The layouts of the Nürburgring GP circuit in AMS2 include the Mercedes Arena Complex, which in 1999 only existed on drawing paper. And Monaco, well, as there is only a modern version with corresponding curbs in AMS2, and I've practically never had a good race there in over 4 years of playing the game, well, I just skipped it because I don't like it. Simple as that. However, of course, for all tracks and races I've included, I've picked the historically correct dates and weather. Only in some I had to set the weather manually because the real historical weather in AMS2 didn't apply. The AI skill will vary. As always, I'm looking for the sweet spot of authentic times, personal challenge, and fun. I will also use the XML selector, so for example Michael Schumacher will be missing from some races and will then be replaced by Mika Salo. So far, so familiar. But what's new here is my hardcore approach, which I hope will raise the thrill and viscerality for me and you to unimagined heights. I call it no re, like in no restart, no repeat, or no retry. What that means is that, like in reality, there is no second attempt for me. I forbid myself a restart. As soon as I'm on the grid and the lights turn green, I have to deliver. If I crash at the start or drive into an opponent or the wall during the race and take damage, I will have to deal with that. And since the damage is set to full and the damage scale to high, I'd actually better be very, very careful. On max damage scale, by the way, the amount of damage is almost absurd and practically leads to failure and DNF as soon as you take a glance over to your opponent. On high, which I chose, it's still significantly higher than on medium, which I used to prefer. As a result, I'll have to drive really, really carefully and prepare my maneuvers very well. If you don't believe me, guys, give it a try. I promise you, the adrenaline will shoot to the tips of your toes with every overtaken attempt. There will be only exceptions to this rule if the game crashes, bugs out, or let's say if a completely absurd racing situation arises, such as cars piling on top of each other, traffic jams, etc. Furthermore, it goes without saying that I will not use the in-game HUD, but just rely on crew chief and pit boards to stay informed during a race. Also, I'm still testing some SimHub leaderboard overlays, which I would record only on the OBS screen, meaning this leaderboard will only be visible for you, but not on my racing screen, which is of course a different one. However, I haven't found the right one yet that shows all 22 cars and also works flawlessly in AMS2, like without any typos or other visual errors. So if you happen to know a good overlay leaderboard, please tell me. Also, I will use different AI skills for qualifying and racing and will tweak the AI mistakes multiplier for the best experience, most authentic times, etc. Very important, I also modified the custom AI further to my needs and significantly adjusted the vehicle reliability values to get more realistic results, aka DNFs. The race length will be a third of the original distance, with correspondingly 3 times the fuel consumption. This ensures that we have to come into the pits at least once per race to refuel. And in the half hour that such a race will take on average, I'm sure more than enough will happen on the one hand, and on the other, there should be still enough time to make up for at least minor driving mistakes. Admittedly, for total authenticity, I would actually have to go the full distance. But guys, sorry, I don't have the time. I also want to present you with reasonably short and entertaining videos. Thus, it helps immensely in post-production if I only have to watch and edit 30 minutes instead of 90. If you know me and my channel, you'll know that I am a proper sucker for authenticity. For this CC, I will even go further along that road. I want this to be my new benchmark in doing authentic custom championships. For that, I have put together a spreadsheet with the whole season calendar, including various details and specifics for each GP, all based on my research, knowledge, and of course, testing. I'm happy to share that with you, so please tell me if you're interested. If you have any other questions or comments, please leave them in the comments. And by the way, if you're looking for sim racing gear, please take a look at Sim Ultimate. The guys have all the popular brands in their store, and if you buy with my referral link, which I provide in the description, you'll even get a 5% discount. Check it out, could be worth it. So guys, that's it for now. Now I'm off to virtual Sao Paulo for practicing at Interlagos for the first round of this upcoming championship. See you on the grid. All the best. Bye bye.